Today's workout is about 2/3 hard work and cardio, and 1/3 a little bit of active stretching. So first two blocks, you're gonna hit 4 rounds. Both blocks are gonna start with either a 2-minute run or a 2-minute of any kind of cardio. If you've been using a bike for your cardio, then jump on a bike. If you can't run and you don't have a bike, then you're looking for any kind of quick motions, any kind of jog in place, anything that can keep your heart elevated for 2 minutes. Then you're going to go into your list of exercises. Notice that all the exercises have rep counts, but they're about half of what we've done in this workout previously. So make sure you pay attention to your numbers being a little bit lower. They are moving at your own pace. The harder workout you want, the quicker you need to go. Totally up to you. So first exercise, lateral lunge shifts. We've done these many times. Feet stay wide. Toes are mostly pointed forward. They can be turned out just a little bit. And we are staying down low, shifting side to side. Remember on the shifts, we never fully extend and open the hips unless you've got super tight hips. If you're battling a tight hip or tight hip flexor, then go ahead and come up between them, press the hips forward, and get a little bit of extra stretch through there. Otherwise, stay down nice and low and get a good burn through the legs. Then we're down for Everest steps. These are just as much for a stretch as they are for a little cardio and a little shoulder. So we all know our Everest steps, hips stay as low as you can, press down as you step forward. Remember that the hips can come up in the air on an Everest step as you're stepping in and out. Just make sure that you drop them back down on every plank and in the middle of every Everest step. So those hips are going up and down. Then we've got our speed skaters. Just like always, nice and big, reaching up and away. Remember to tap that back foot. We've been working on tapping it so that we're not twisting the bottom knee. If you've been having any lateral or medial, inside-outside knee issues, then be careful on these. Go ahead and just take them as a step so that you're controlling the motion of that knee a little easier. Then we finish with the power slam. Now we used to do these a lot with our med balls in class. We take that med ball slam, catch it, lift it up and slam. So we're gonna pretend we have a med ball. So it's nice and heavy in the hand. I don't want you to actually use a weight on this one because it is easy. With the med ball, you release the weight at the bottom. So you're not using all your musculature to try to stop that heavy weight. You just release it. I don't want you to use a heavy weight and then end up pulling through all the musculature in your back to stop that weight from slamming the floor. So no weight in the hands. If you have a med ball, go for it. But we're taking a nice big reach up, and then when you slam it, chest is nice and tall. Everything from the front side of the body is contracting and squeezing and throwing. Lift it up, squeeze and throw. So think about really opening the abdominal and the front side of the body, and then tucking it nice and tight and squeezing as you pretend to throw that ball. All right, block 2, same start, 2 minutes cardio, and then our exercises. Sumo squat hop, we all know this one. Nice big wide stance, knees follow the toes. Arms down when you're down, nice big reach up and back to the ground. Lost my balance, let me try again. Reach it up, back to the ground, up, back to the ground. Keep those knees pressing wide, chest up as much as you can, really utilizing the glutes on that one. Then we have our tiger step. Same as our Everest step, all the cues are the same. We're just gonna lift that inside hand. So as my foot comes forward, my arm comes up in the air. It's gonna allow a little bit more push down through those hips every time. And if you're like me, by lifting that arm, I don't have to raise my hips quite as much. I can keep my hips lower and really just pull that knee through the middle. Then we're on to 2 of our kicks, Frankenstein kicks and butt kicks. Frankenstein kicks, make sure you are focusing on pulling the toes back on that straight leg. So keeping the leg as straight as you can, pulling your toes back to your face. So you're getting a good active stretch through the back of the leg. By this point, your lower body should be very warm. You should not have to worry about pulling a muscle like we talked about in the beginning when you're kind of cold. So pull those toes back, alternate sides, really trying to get as high as you can and feel that hamstring stretch. Then we're just gonna hit the opposite, knees stay back behind, butt kicks. You can take these walking perfectly fine. You can take them up onto your toes a little bit faster. Completely up to you. 4 rounds, and then you're on to round 3. With the exception of this first exercise, the rest are all active stretching movements. This first one is that 75-second plank challenge again. Remember, I don't care what you do in that plank. Your goal is just to stay up. So you can shoulder tap, you can kick your feet back, you can rotate into some rock star planks, you can shift front to back, you can take some mountain climbers, anything that keeps you from boredom, but we're looking to stay up for 1 minute and 15 seconds. Then we are going to remain down on the ground for the rest of the exercises. First one is our plank to pigeon, left and right. So we've been doing this one in our cool down at least, or warm up, either one of them. But we're going to take that same nice big plank and draw one knee forward, sit into that pigeon, and switch. So as we go through these exercises, you have a choice at this point, whether you want to hold each exercise and turn this into your stretch, or use this as an active cool down. So you move into the movement, pause, move right back out. If you have the time, I would love for you to use this as an active cool down, just moving through the motions, trying to increase your range of motion every time you go. But if you don't have, and then do the actual cool down and stretch after. If you don't have time, I understand. Slow down on these movements and get some hold in there. So that's your plank to pigeon. Then you're gonna go our roly-poly to our straddle. So remember, on these roly-polies, most important 2 things: arms are by your side, abs are pulled in tight. So I'm gonna roll back, feet go over my head as high as I can. I'm gonna roll forward. As I come up, I'm gonna come into a straddle, and I'm gonna reach center. Roll it back, arms by side, overhead, back up, feet separated, and reach. So every time you come up, as I just said, you don't have to hold, but I want you to try to reach a little farther, and a little farther, and see how far you can get by that 5th one. Then we've got our lying leg lift hamstring stretch. So all we're gonna do here is take it onto the back, and we're gonna alternate a leg lift that we pull into a stretch. A lot of people do these in Pilates. Now, it's more of a workout-driven move in Pilates where your back leg, your other leg is off the ground. We're taking it as a stretch. So leave that bottom leg on the ground. Try really hard, though, to press the back of that bottom leg down and your toes to the ceiling. Most of us, that's gonna happen. The knee's gonna bend and the toe's gonna fall out because we're pretty tight through the front of the hip. So try real hard to focus on keeping those toes up to the ceiling. So I'm gonna pull from behind in for a pause, and then I'm gonna switch legs. Pause and switch. Pause and switch. It's up to you whether you keep your back up the whole time. Yes, it is a little bit of an abdominal workout. You can feel the core working if you're holding your upper back up, but I also feel like it's a lot easier to reach behind your leg for a stretch. So to me, it works better like that, but you do what you need to do at this point. Then we're gonna flip over for a lying quadricep stretch. So on this one, I'm gonna pull one foot up, reaching anywhere on that shoe. Some of us, it may be the actual back of your shoe. Some of you may be able to get your hands to your shoelaces. Face down, and we're pulling in for a pause, and then switching legs. Pulling it in, switching legs. Now, if you cannot get to your shoelaces very easily, if you are super tight in your hip flexor or your quad, what you may need to do is grab a rope, a band, a towel, like a hand towel, and wrap it around your foot and then roll over and go ahead and just pull for 30 seconds on one side and then just switch sides instead of doing 5 on each side. You may be able to sit up high enough to grab it and pull it down, and then when you switch sides, turn and grab it and pull it in. So try those before you immediately go to grab like a towel or a band. So try to have your body do the work before you have to grab something else. But moving on. Then you're gonna flip back over for one more time, and we're gonna finish it with a knee pull I'm gonna switch sides so you'll be able to see it better. A knee pull and then a rotate. So when I go to rotate, the arm I'm turning away from goes to the floor and the opposite knee goes over the side. Same as the other exercises, we're looking for a pause and a pause. Pause and a pause. So trying to move through those. When we do that, a lot of times we are able to go a tiny bit farther every time. Then you can hold the last one if you want. Really focus. By the time you get to your full cool down and stretch, you should feel like you've got a little bit more motion. Now, do realize that that is a 2-block exercise. That doesn't mean you can do both of your planks and then all your exercises. I want you to do your 75-second plank, go through the list of active cool down stretches, then repeat one more time with that plank and then one last time through those exercises. By the time that you get to the second round, you should feel more limber. You should be able to move a little bit farther. When you reach through that straddle, you should be able to get a couple inches farther than you did on that first one. All right, guys, I hope you have a great workout. Thank you for joining me this week. We have officially made a full year of workouts. It's really hard to imagine it's been a whole year since everything happened. But I thank you again so much for sticking with me, and I look forward to continuing to make workouts for as long as you want them. All right, guys, have a great workout and an awesome weekend.